Francis, you have a pretty crazy resume, mate. I've got it here in front of me in the sense of you own a sanctuary for high performers in Thailand. You're in incredible shape. You fought 12 times in Muay Thai. You've done countless hierarchies. You're building an app. You have a family that you've moved out here to Thailand to a small village, Sam Roi Yot. Pretty incredible stuff, mate. Tell me, what does a day in your life look like?
I mean, like you said, the day is very congested. I structure my day around my morning workout. So a morning workout has to come in. That's a non-negotiable. If I don't get that morning workout in, then I'm not the same person for the rest of the day. After that, sort the family out. I've just had another child, another boy. So I've got 2 kids. Go to work at the gym or at the sanctuary. Whatever problems come that day, and then start developing the tech. So there's a lot to get in there. And that's before my second workout.
Absolutely, mate. That's wild. That's crazy. It's interesting. I've actually spoke to a good few people recently about that in the sense of the difference with their days if they don't start it with a workout.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how you feel about that. Me personally, it's like if I'm not working out, mentally I can't function as well. How do you find, let's say you don't train in the morning, how does the rest of your day go?
It just seems harder. I feel like starting my day with a physical pursuit really helps me mentally. And I feel like I've learned that the hard way, whereas, trying to do my training in the evening or missing training completely. Like, people tell me I'm doing too much and to scale it back. Whereas I'm the type of person where, do you know what, that probably doesn't work for me. I need to actually do more to get more out of my day.
Absolutely. It makes so much sense, man. I think that's the key aspect of any pursuit, whether it be business or fitness, is understanding what works for you. Because to some people it will look crazy, it will look like abnormal amounts of training or workloads, but for you, if you function better, then that's class, man. I mean, we're going to go over all of this today, which I'm so excited to dive into: the training, business, of course, Thybrid, the sanctuary, which I've been so lucky to be part of for this week. But I want to start off in the beginning, mate, 'cause all the things you built have been incredible, and I can't wait to go into that. But what was your early life like? You grew up in Manchester. What did that look like for you?
Manchester's great. Love living there. I mean, for me, as a kid, what I found, even though racism wasn't huge, I feel like it did impact my personality a lot. Whereas I became a bit more of an introvert. Whereas I'm not like completely white, but then at the same time I'm not completely like Chinese. I'm somewhere in between. So, growing up as a kid, there were definitely comments from like growing up in a white area where there's probably 1 or 2 mixed race kids. So I think for me that played a lot into my self-esteem growing up. Other than that, 2 older brothers and older sister, a lot older as well, like 5, 7, 14 years. So we used to fight a lot. I used to get myself into trouble, and school was great, actually. I find that academically I was good, even though I did play up, misbehave. But other than that, things were great. Dedicated my life to sport, and I think today that helps me more than ever.
Yeah. What did you start with? Was it football?
Started with football, like Manchester, full of football. Always been a City fan. And then for me, football was life. Up until the ages of maybe 14, 15, 16. My brother fought professional MMA. He did for years as well, and I used to follow him sometimes and then go training with him. And then for me, Muay Thai just kind of fell into my lap. He used to go training in Thailand before anyone else did, and I just think that was so cool. And I kind of always wanted to be like him.
That's incredible, man. How long did he fight? Was it what age were you when you started being influenced by him? When was he fighting MMA?
I mean, growing up as a kid in Manchester, he was fighting a lot. I mean, not just training, it was fighting in the streets and getting into trouble, getting into more trouble than any of us, I suppose. And I think after that, he kind of built discipline. I think he's a brown belt in karate, and then he went into MMA. He was doing a lot of Muay Thai. He went to Brazil and do jiu-jitsu. But this is from a very young age, and he's 7 years older than me. So I've kind of watched that and always been, wanting to follow in his footsteps.
Yeah. What I love about this already, mate, is like, see, when we dive back into childhood, we think of the path you've taken in life, where you are today, like basing yourself in Thailand with the gym, all the training you've done, all the competing you've done, might never have happened if you didn't have your brother as that initial kind of like inspiration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously he was MMA, Muay Thai, all of these things. So what do you think you liked about it when you looked at him? Did you see him as disciplined? Did you see him as strong? What was it about them that kind of inspired you?
It was just, he wasn't scared of anyone. He's still not. And I think that's what inspired me. And he was my oldest brother. And then if you go 2 years down, the one that's 5 years older, he was the one that I would compete with constantly, on the games, playing football, fighting with him. Like, he was kind of the person that gave me that competitive edge, whereas my other brother was kind of the role model that I'd look up to.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. That's really good. So you started, obviously played football all throughout your life up until the age of about 16. When did Muay Thai start for you? What age were you?
Around 16, Muay Thai, so involved with it up until today.
Yeah. And when you start in the gym, in terms, because obviously right now you do Hierarchy's a lot of hybrid training. When did you start weight training and things like that?
So it was all pretty much after COVID. So before COVID, I was 100% into Muay Thai. So I was working in a corporate job. Before work, I'd go train at the gym, do a one-to-one pad session. Then after work, I'd go sparring, do a class. I'd do that 5-6 days a week. And then I was actually in Thailand at the sanctuary that I'm at now when everything came and locked down. By the time I got off the plane, the gym had burnt down, like somebody had done some sort of insurance scam, or it genuinely just set on fire. I don't know. And then after that, Muay Thai kind of stopped. You weren't allowed to train in any gym. So spent maybe, I think, £600 or £700 buying like gym equipment and started training people from my backyard. And then I fell into that. And then by the time lockdown and COVID had finished, I was kind of a mix between the two. I was teaching Muay Thai, still training in Muay Thai, but then I was teaching functional fitness and sort of competing in that aspect from that day on.
Yeah. What gyms were you, when you started teaching Muay Thai, what gym was that? Was that in Manchester?
Gym in Manchester.
Yeah.
Small place, like teach mainly kids that get 10, 20 up to maybe 30 kids in a very small room. But they loved it and I loved coaching.
Yeah. What, when was your first fight, Muay Thai? Was it, because obviously it would have been in the UK. What age were you when you done your first fight?
It wasn't that, I wasn't too young. So say if I started by the age of 16, it's probably when I was 19, 20.
Okay.
But then ever since that day, I just kind of loved it, loved competing. Competing was always me. Competing was always me. When I stopped football, I needed something else to focus on. It became Muay Thai. But I lived for the competition, not just for the training. And I'm still like that to the very day.
Interesting. Is this, yeah, I mean, we see that, for example, I remember when we first met and we spoke about high rocks. I'm probably the polar opposite to you in the sense of I like training Muay Thai. I like doing weight training. I've never competed. If I look back to my childhood, I was never forced to compete or never pushed to compete, I should say. Even with my brothers way older than me. So it's so interesting, your competitive drive. We can look back and see that from obviously, again, your childhood, coming up through obviously football, Muay Thai. You said even like gaming and things you guys were competitive with. What was it like the first time you stepped into a ring, Muay Thai wise? Were you scared? What was that like?
Yeah. It was scary. It was weird. I mean, it's a different feeling to any other competition in terms of like the nerves that come over you and knowing that this guy's really out there. And when you see somebody throwing a punch for the first time at your face, when you're not used to that, in that kind of environment where it's aggressive and trying to take you out, it just feels different.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, man. Like, so you've had 12 fights.
Yeah.
12 fights. How many did you have in the UK?
I had about 6 in the UK.
6 in the UK. Rest all in Thailand?
Yeah.
Amazing. What's been one of your most memorable fights? What stands out to you?
Just one when I was about 20, 21. It was in Jersey. So it was out of the UK, sort of. Me and all my mates flown there on the day or the day before. I think there was like 10 of us. Stayed there for the night. Won the fight, had a party, and it was just a great occasion.
Yeah. And you've won 10 of 12 fights, I believe. That's class. So good, man. And your training, I assume, was at the same gym for that full time, or did you ever move from gym to gym?
Nah, I trained at one gym up until COVID and lockdown. It was a great gym. There was just me and another lad that trained there for years, like maybe 2-3 years. And then after COVID, my life was a lot different. So I'd had a son, and I wanted to get back into competition again. And for me to do that, there was the old gym that burnt down wasn't there anymore. So I found another one, and it was great coaches, great facility, and great access to competitive training again. So I had 2 fights after COVID, won one, and lost one, but I thought, you know what, just had a kid. It's kind of different now. I can't get as much volume in training, and my weight cuts are twice as hard because I've got to wake up in the night with a screaming kid.
Mhm.
So I thought, I'm going to give this up and I'm going to try something else instead.
Yeah. So put me in the situation. You're probably, I imagine, mid-20s. Obviously, you've been fighting Muay Thai. What are you doing at this time, mid-20s? What are you doing work-wise? What is your training? What does life look like in your mid-20s?
I mean, I hated it. Not that I hated life, I just hated where I was in life. I did everything that I was supposed to do. Mum and dad made me go to uni, maybe get the degree, even went out to get the masters as well.
What did you study?
Um, Sport management. So I did that in Manchester. I actually dropped out of uni twice.
Wow.
So I went to 3 unis within the space of a year.
Why? What made you drop out?
Like I said, and you probably don't think that now, but my self-esteem was pretty low. And I found that I was very much introverted. So when I was put into an environment, like a group environment where you've got to do group work and teamwork things, I couldn't do it. And I just tended to avoid uni. So I first went to Newcastle. Within the first 3 months, I dropped out. And then I went to another one in Bolton and then dropped out because same thing. And then went to one in Manchester and kind of stuck to it because I found a few friends there or a group there that I could stick with.
You mentioned that obviously you are introverted. Everything you do now is the polar opposite of that, of introversion, especially what you have to do now for content and everything. Being on here, do you think it was the social side of things that kind of brought you out of that? You said that's one of the things that kept you in uni. Was that something that kind of brought you out of that introversion?
I mean, I think I'm still the same. Like you bring me around a group of, I would say, 5 or 6 people that I don't really know, like maybe family, friends, I'll be quiet. I'll be very quiet. But when you get me in a room of 40, 50 people that want to train, or 40 to 50 people that want to learn about leadership and something else, I'll come out my shell. Or when it comes to me leading my own teams, I'm absolutely fine. But you put me in the wrong environment and something that I can't click with, I struggle.
Absolutely. I think that's right. It's like everybody's somewhat an introvert depending on the situation you put them in.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if you put someone in a situation where they're uncomfortable or they don't really know what to do, of course you're going to go into your shell. But then vice versa, if you put somebody in a situation where they can thrive, the opposite happens.
Yeah.
Which is for you. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense going into that. With regards to that time, you'd mentioned that 25 can admit you didn't really like where you were going with uni and all that. What brought you out of that? How come you got to a point in your life where there was more direction with it?
Um, I got onto a graduate scheme, so did everything right again, did a presentation, did an exam, and the people that worked there genuinely loved what I brought to them. I got this job in an industry that I knew nothing about. It was construction, so project controls, so very much like analyzing data, planning big, massive infrastructure construction projects. I hated it. I was there for 2 years, genuinely didn't have a clue what was going on for the 2 years. They were like seniors above me, and like, it's the same crowd. It's like, you know, the majority male guys, like middle-aged, out of shape, and they're kind of like looking down on me, telling me what to do, and just thought there's something not right here. I didn't like it, and thank God. I mean, not for the situation, but that COVID actually got me out of it. I got put on furlough, and then eventually I knew it was coming. I got made redundant. And then, with that money, like I said, I invested it into some gym equipment, got myself onto this personal training course, and that is what changed the direction for me.
Mm. You seem like you went down a route that so many people go down. Mid-20s, don't like what they're doing. They've been somewhat forced to go to uni. They've been persuaded to go to uni, do something they don't necessarily like. They leave, they get a job, which again, they don't like. Now, lucky for you, you kind of fell on your feet with COVID, but you made that happen for you. I assume that was when things started to change pre-COVID or during COVID, whenever you obviously changed direction with your career.
Yeah. I mean, I was scared to do anything, to actually make a change for myself. And I feel like with anybody, if they don't like what they're doing and they feel like they're going to be stuck in it for a long time, I think making a decision sooner is better than leaving it.
I think so many people think they've got too much time, don't they? Even at that age.
Honestly, it's time. And I feel like if it wasn't for COVID and the people were happy me being there, doing nothing, I'd, I'd still be there. Genuinely think I'd still be there.
Scary. Comfort's a killer.
Comfort is a killer, yeah. But I also feel like people just need to step up and do things for themselves, which is what I didn't have the courage to do. But now I would. Anytime I'm in the wrong situation, I'll change it.
You're making, see, everything you just said there, it rings so true to me, because I was in a situation kind of similar. Like, also, I'd been personal training for 5 years in a small town where I was brought up, was super comfortable. Like,
Yeah.
I loved what I'd done to an extent. I did quite enjoy it, but I knew I was capable of far more. Like, the same, like, you could imagine me right now, I could easily have still been in that small town, personal training, general population clients, which wouldn't have been me pushing my potential. Now, again, comfort kept me there for so long, and you use the word in sense of courage. Like, I didn't have the courage to change because I needed to make those multiple aspects of my life, including relationship I was in at the time, the place I was living, which was the radical changes that I needed to make, which obviously catapulted my life. You done the exact same thing. So it just shows you, like, we could all easily be caught in these traps of comfort, but it's the courage that we need to step out of that. How did you, I mean, you were somewhat forced to do that, but what led to that courage for you making that change? How did you do it?
It was just something that personally I wanted to do for myself. Every time I was at work, I'd be on what are these job sites called? I can't even think.
I know what you mean, I think, but yeah, so you were on jobs you weren't necessarily enjoying at the time.
I was looking for different jobs, anything sport related. Like a new sport was something that I wanted to do long term. That could be, I'd want to be an intern at a football club. I would have worked for free. I would have done things that don't return financially, just to feel better mentally. And I feel like, mental capacity from somewhere 40 hours a week, it has to be something that I truly value.
Absolutely. I think it's the same with everything in life, man. We need to align it with our values. We think of how much time we spend at work, which actually, I'm not a big fan of the term work. Like, see what you do. Would you class it as, I mean, we're told it's work, right? But would you class it as work? Because you're
Yeah.
just living, really, aren't you?
Just living. I mean, I'd say now, like being an entrepreneur, my time is more occupied. My time is more valuable.
Yes.
The stress is a lot higher, but then again, the payoff's a lot greater as well.
Too right, man. Too right. Which is why I think people will stick in jobs and comfortable situations that they don't really like, because exactly that, it's comfortable. Whereas you take that step into entrepreneurship, like me and you both done, you do have the benefit of your life then doesn't necessarily become work, it just becomes life. It takes over every aspect of your life, which sounds quite scary. But I think it's a good thing to an extent. Yes, the stress can be difficult, but like you said, the reward at the other end of that is like, you can't get that in a corporate world.
No.
You can't get the feeling of building, of scaling, of growing as a person, growing a business. Can't get that anywhere else. So yeah, I think it's
What I think though is there's a huge trade off, and it's like the more you get into it, and like it's like everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, and it's like, okay, now you've got the time, same as a single person. I'm working 20 hours a day or 18 hours a day, and then I sleep the rest. When you throw family into the mix, it gets a little bit more difficult. You've got to balance them. And it's like you need to learn early on how to balance these things. Okay, so balancing my work, balancing my family, but then also balancing my own personal space and my own health. So it's like these three things need to be well balanced for it to work. And if it doesn't, something fails. And it's like, okay, I can't, as sad as it said, it's like, as sad as it sounds, it's like I can't spend too much time with my family, otherwise the business will fail. Um, or like vice
like,
versa. If I spend too much time doing my work, then no, I'm not spending a lot of time with my family, that'll fail. So things do come into play, and I feel like experience is key. And if you learn from the right people early on, identify what can go wrong, then you can mitigate that.
absolutely, man. I think that is the big battle of entrepreneurship, isn't it? Especially, I mean, you're further ahead in the journey than me, in the sense of you've scaled, you built what you're building right now. You also have family. So balancing all that's tough, but it comes back to that value point that we said. It's like, you need to understand what the things you value most. Where are you going to, like, we can't waste time. Like, especially you, like, you have a family, you have multiple businesses to be building. You can't afford to be procrastinating too long to do this, to that. So I think the purpose it gives your time when you're a business owner is, yeah, it's just so different, which
Yeah.
also you didn't have beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like beforehand, like, I mean, may have been in a relationship, being in a shitty job, but when, no, when work finishes, when the weekend's here, then I'm free. I can do what I want. And like things don't matter anymore. Where sometimes on the weekend, when I'm supposed to be spending quality time with the family and the kids, it's like things can just take over your mind. So it's coming up with techniques that you can switch off and that you can be fully present.
Yes, absolutely, man. I've got like a bank of them in the sense like
Yeah.
journaling's a great one. I'll say this to clients. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen the image before. It's just like a guy and he's stuck in a ditch and he has basically he's got a ladder to get him out. That's his tools. It's just like we're all going to fall down these ditches. If you think of life in the sense of like, let's hope it's an upward trajectory. You're going upwards, but there's always little ditches. You go down, you come back up, hardships, failures, all of these things. But our toolkit, which for me is like gratitude, journaling, like speaking to other people, speaking to myself, like having conversations. All of these things are the tools that I use to get me out of those ditches. Whereas if you don't build that tool set, then you're going to struggle, and that's whether you're an entrepreneur or not. What are some of the things? Because this is some, of course, we'll delve into a little bit more in terms of the hardships you face. But what are the type of tools that you've used in that kind of journey of entrepreneurship when you've experienced some hardship? How do you get out of that?
Um, I think for me, I've always been impatient. I always want things now. I think when it comes to hardship, you kind of got to make a decision quick. If something's not working, don't sit on it. I think make a decision. And then I'd say the other thing is possibly these might contradict each other, but give some things time or make a quick decision.
Yes, I think you're right. And this is the thing with experience. The more experience you have, you're then going to know when to deploy which tool.
Yeah.
So when does it need time? When does it need action? I've got a friend, Lawrence. He's incredibly good at doing this in business. He just takes ruthless action. He just does shit. Like, see if he had to let a staff member go, he'd do it. He'd just do it. I couldn't do that. I would overthink it for ages. Whereas he's just so ruthlessly ambitious in a good way. He's a very good person. He'll do it in the right way. But he's just so good at doing these things. And I think you're right. It's a great tool for getting yourself out of that, because at the end of the day, what's going to get you out of these hardships? Action. You can't think your way out of an overthinking problem. So it's going to be that. It's that ruthless action. So I think they're really good points. We've already obviously spoke about business. What got you from that corporate world into business? What led you to entrepreneurship?
It's kind of, I didn't know what else to do. And it was during lockdown when I was still getting paid. I was venturing on online coaching because I feel like I had that trust from people from competing in Muay Thai and kind of always posting about training, that people knew what I was doing. And then at the time there was a big surge of people that wanted to train because they had more time to do it. And it had to be like very adaptable as well, whereas everything was outdoors, low equipment. So I kind of made myself an expert on that and then did everything online for about a year and kind of built that business. And then when it came to the gym opening, it was easy. Moved into a gym, had clients waiting.
Wow. What gym was it that you'd moved into? Was it a gym that you'd been in before, or is this a totally new venture? So post-COVID, when gyms open back up again, you start working in a gym, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Just one of my friend's gyms. My friend opened a gym. It was very new, like maybe a year old. And then COVID happened. So as soon as he was back open, he was looking for trainers, and then I moved in with him.
Good.
Great guy, great experience, great business plan to learn from as well.
Amazing. And what was that experience like? Because we've spoken private about how much coaching is like a big part of your life, how much you enjoy it. What was that like when you, as a introvert as such, what was that like going into a group coaching environment? How did you adapt? And was it natural? Did it just come straight away?
Honestly, being on the gym floor is me. Like naturally, if you want to get the best out of me, you put me on the gym floor. Put me behind a computer, it's okay, I'll get by, but I have to be with people. I have to be showing people.
It's amazing. And did that come naturally? Was it as soon as you started working at his gym, did you just start? Was it a natural skill that you had, or did you have to develop that over time?
It came naturally for some reason. I just become a motivator. Like I've always been a great motivator for people. When it comes to things like teaching classes and technique and ability, that's something that but back then I was trying to learn and pick up from. So classes might not have always been programmed the best. People's programs might not have always been the best, but when it comes to like getting the most out of them people and doing them sessions, it was great.
Amazing. So we're just post-COVID now. You've started working in a gym, you're coaching people. How did life then develop after that? Obviously, you're now in coaching, you're doing something you start to enjoy. What did life look like around that time?
Things moved very fast. So I went from one gym into another, arguably a bigger gym with more people and more customers to serve. And at one point, I was probably teaching about 300 people a week in classes, in group settings. Like, this is separate from my one-to-ones.
Yeah.
And then from there, I really, really came out my shell, started developing really high-level coaching methods, and then I just became a master of what I was doing and loved it.
Mm.
And at the same time, I was amplifying even more. I was becoming this great motivator and getting the best out of people.
Amazing. And how did things develop from there? Were you still doing Muay Thai at the time, or was it purely hybrid style training you were doing?
I mean, I was probably a good blend of the two. I was still keeping in touch with my Muay Thai roots, like 1 or 2 pad sessions a week, like one-to-ones, and then all the other days I'd be doing the hybrid class. And this was before hybrid was a thing. So this was like functional fitness before people were doing functional fitness. I feel like at this time we were, one of the leaders in an industry that was just emerging.
Yeah. So when did you start doing Hyroxes? When did that start? What kind of year are we talking?
It's just about 3 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So about 3 years ago, and you've done over 10 Hyroxes, haven't you?
I've done over 10. I think I've just booked my 11th one, which is going to be in Bangkok.
Nice. All pros as well.
All pros. No. I've done 2 that are not pros. So I've done,
Okay.
I'd say 7 or 8 that are pro events.
Yeah. So you jumped straight into the deep end, didn't you? Your first one.
Yeah,
Got
loved
pro-
it. I mean, jumped straight in, had no idea what I was getting into. I thought, do you know what? I can run quick. I can run like a sub 25K.
Yeah.
I can lift a lot. Like, I've always been a great lifter. I've been strong. And I thought going into this high rocks would be pretty easy. And I was there looking, okay, top 1, top 2, top 3, looking at all the numbers there. And then when you get into it, it's like, bam, you just get whacked.
Yeah.
But it was a great experience. I didn't do too bad. I didn't do as well as I thought. But then it's like the atmosphere, the competition, everything's just addictive. And I started feeling that feeling again I did when I was fighting. And I think it can seem like a trend or a hype, high rocks, but I think the people that are the best at it are people with like true competitiveness and a background of training. And that's what I kind of like.
So what kind of level were you at? So if you to give us some numbers in terms of what type of times were you doing for solos and stuff, what kind of level were you at?
I think my first event was like 116. It was a pro event, and then the best one I'd ever done was about 105.
Yeah.
Which is good, which is great. For someone of my size, I'm weighing like 92, 93 kg usually. And like running is something that I've just taken on this year. Like now running is a part of my routine. I've got to run probably 4 times a week. I reduced that down from 6 because I was just, it was far too much.
Yeah. So we look at all the things you've done, right? You played football at a younger age, you done Muay Thai, very much from a competitive aspect. You got the same thing with High Rocks.
Yeah.
Probably why you partly enjoyed that. I think one of the other things I want to really dive into is one of your other reasons for training. Obviously in the past it's been through addiction. Tell me a wee bit about that. Like, how did that impact your life? And yeah, what's that been like for you?
I mean, probably the toughest period of my life. And it was a long time as well. So I'd say from the ages of 16 to 27, 28, bearing in mind I'm only 30 now, my life was controlled by money. But when I say money, I feel like it was gambling. Like it would get to points where I would take out small loans, lose all that, have to like reclaim money from family, and just it would be bad. It would break relationships for me. It would break relationships between me and my partner. And then it got to a point where she said, okay, do you know what? I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave. I'm going to take the kids. So it's like, well, the one kid that we had at the time. And then for me, that was a turning point. I feel like even though I put myself in bad situations, things were really rough, like really, really rough. There was only one point that I'd say was rock bottom, and that was in 2020, 2020, 2022. When she said that, and I thought, okay, I've got to turn my life around now.
Yeah.
That was it. And it's like something hits you different. I don't know if you get spiritual or your brain just switches because it's in fight or flight mode. And I just kind of came out of the other end and started to thrive. It got to a point where I said, okay, if I don't quit now, then that's kind of going to be the end of me.
Yeah. As obviously, I'm somebody that's never suffered, thankfully, from addiction to anything to that level, where it controls your life. talk me through what it's like. What did it feel like? What was your days like? Were you gambling on apps? Were you going into places? What was that like?
It's like you kind of just stuck. I mean, every day is different depending on what is feeling you that day. Like, there was some days I'd be there all day putting hundreds, if not thousands of pounds on under 21 football matches or stupid games that I run at like 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, kind of keeping it a secret as well. So everything was really secretive, a lot of lies. And then some days I'd be at the casino, just bringing cash with me there, spinning at like 7, 8 a.m. in the morning. Like every day would be different. And the day before, I'd premeditate how I'm going to do it the next day, kind of put strategies behind things to keep it a secret.
That's, yeah, wild, man. I can't even imagine what it's like to have that pull. Did you just wake up and have this pull to do this? It's inescapable. What's that like?
Just urges that you cannot control. And it's like you convince yourself every single time, okay, I'm going to win this. And then that's the end of it. And then 3 months later, you've done it every day for 90 days. And the hole is so big that there's no way out of it. It's just ridiculous.
Absolutely. It's the thing, isn't it?
Don't get me wrong. There's been days that I've won. I think the biggest bet that I won was 88 grand.
And one bit.
88 grand in one bet. And it was like, it wasn't even a happy day for me. Do you know what I mean?
No?
I mean, it was happy I'd won a bet, but it didn't take long for me to be back doing it again.
And what did you do with that money? Did you spend it or
I lost it.
lost it all?
Yeah, I mean, I might have bought a few things, but nothing of any true value. Like, we could have done a lot. But I'm an addict. Like, no amount of money would be enough to get me out of addiction.
Which I think is a really good thing to realise. I think a lot of people won't realise that.
Yeah.
Because you have the endless cycle of like, because the thing I remember when we first spoke about this, you said this to me, it's like, with like you think of alcohol or something like that. Now, yes, you get the high of alcohol as numbing things, but gambling, there's a huge associated win at the end of it, which is obviously what drives you to go back for more and more and more. So that must make it so difficult to actually get away from the fact that you could win, it could change everything, or at least that's the story you tell yourself.
And it's like, it doesn't change how I feel. Like, do you know what? If you're pissed, you stink of alcohol, you're walking like an idiot. When I'm gambling, I can hide it. I can hide it so easy. And it's the only addiction where you don't have to put a substance in your body to get the feeling. I get that feeling as soon as I'm driving near a Bookies, when I drive past the Bookies.
Wow, that's incredible. So obviously, you said the big thing that took you away from that was Sam. She said to you about, obviously, like, if you didn't change your ways, then things would change off the back of that.
Yeah, she stuck by me through a lot. It was like a good few years of these cycles. Like, I'd spend a few months where I'm seeing like I'm coming out of the other end, I'm working on my business, I'm working on my life. And then there'd be a few months where I'm just down in it, losing money every day, or obsessed over gambling, obsessed over checking football scores, obsessed over like small things that don't even matter. And then it would take away from her, it would take away from Vinny, and it made life very like hard and hostile. And I think, and I didn't actually see a way out. I thought that was my life. For like 12 years, I thought that was my life.
Well, and obviously that conversation was a big part of what helped you change her support, and of course, to an extent, her challenge, which is what you need. I think that's the thing with any form of change that people make. You do need both challenge and support. You need support, but then there's too much. So it's a balance, both of those things.
And it's mad. There was major withdrawals when I stopped, like major withdrawals. It got to a point where I was crying every day, like just devastated that I couldn't put a bet on. Not even that I couldn't put a bet on, it's just I was releasing emotions that I didn't think I'd even had. It was weird.
How long did that happen for? How long were you at that?
I remember it was like February, March. That was the month that I stopped. I'm sure it was like June, July by the time I started feeling good again.
Wow.
But when you start to heal, when you start to get better, like things get a lot better. Like you see a different side to life.
I bet it seemed probably like there was no light at the end of the tunnel, at least at some point, until you go through those couple of months, few months, and then it comes out.
Yeah, it's weird. When I was going through it, sometimes I remember I used to say to my dad, I think, So I'm not going to make it to the age of 30. I used to always say, like, I'm never going to make it to the age of 30. And I was like, say, 22, 23, 24-year-old boy at this point.
That's scary, man. So scary.
Yeah, yeah.
And for anybody that's going through that or has gone through that, what would be the piece of advice you would say to them? Obviously, as being somebody that's experienced that for such a huge part of your life, what would you say to them? What helped you?
This is what I tell everyone. I think for me, counseling didn't work. Speaking to people didn't work because you're always kind of spoke down to by some sort of psychologist who's never been through any of these life problems that you have. I think getting help from other people, like, I didn't actually do this, like Gamblers Anonymous, like speaking to groups of people who've been through the same, or alternatively, like, you've got to do it for yourself. No matter who says what, if it's a family member, if it's your missus, like, you've got to do it for yourself. That's what'll make the difference.
I think it's powerful, man. I mean, we talk all the time in self-improvement about like self-love.
Right.
People, if they don't appreciate themselves, they're not going to change for themselves.
100%.
So it's, yeah. I mean, I think it seems like you were at the point where you did appreciate yourself enough and your life enough, what you were building with your family relationship, to be like, do you know what? I need to make this change. And obviously you've done it. Up until that point, though, you had something that helped you a lot, which was training.
Yeah.
Talk me through that. How did you use training to help you through this period of addiction? What did you do?
It just used to take my mind off things. I remember actually fighting. I can't remember what event it was, and I had a football bet on, and it just consumed me the whole time. So I had, like, say, 10 teams, £10 on it, going to win, say, £4,000. I think 9 had played, and I was going into a fight, and there was one still left to play. So it's like, this used to get in the way of my training sometimes. And when I felt my worst, when I felt my lowest, I feel like I needed to hit some pads or just get in the gym and sweat.
That's crazy how much it consumed you. And of course, you used Thailand as an escape as such.
Thailand was my retreat. It was like a place where I changed my environment. Everything would go away. I'd make promises to myself that I'm never going to do this thing again. And then what I learned very quick was that changing your environment is just temporary. At least I made it permanent, but it is temporary.
Absolutely.
Anytime I went back, like, the habits would stay for a good 2 or 3 months. And then eventually it would just consume me again.
Yeah. And what age were you when you started coming out to Thailand to train, to take you away from that? What age were you?
I think I was 19, 20 at the time.
And you came to here, to Sam Roi Yot.
I came here, Sam Roi Yot.
Yeah. Just for people who are listening and maybe haven't been here, just to explain it, it's essentially, like, it's an amazing place. Obviously a small village in Thailand. It's very, what would you say, very authentic, Thailand, for sure.
It's very authentic. Not much has changed since I first came here in 2017. And then for me, it's the nature, the peace, the kind of no distractions atmosphere, and just a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And then when you come here, you see how people live, you see how people are, and it's very friendly and welcoming. Like, there's not too many tourists. And I feel like you're humbled as soon as you come into the place.
Yeah. And of course, gambling's illegal here in Thailand. So, well, I know the ways around it, but yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, gambling's illegal, but it's probably, one of the biggest activities in here, I'd say.
What is the ways, because you've spoke about, to me personally, about the locals and what they do. What does that look like in terms of how they gamble out here? What do they do?
Oh, it's great. It's amazing. It's, I mean, it's not great. It's not amazing, but to see, like, it's a culture shock.
Yeah.
Like, we could finish morning training and we could get invited to a chicken fight. Chicken fights are brutal, man.
That's crazy.
3 22-minute rounds.
What?
Like, these chickens, they've got some stamina.
What?
Yeah. 3 22-minute rounds. And I said to one of the guys, I said, how do you train the chickens? He was like, oh, same Muay Thai. They go jogging, they kick bag. I was like, wow, no way.
That's crazy.
Another sport is fish fighting. Fish fighting's a big one. They find the fish in the pond, and I think it's the blackfish. So what they do is they put a piece of cardboard in between the glass containers. Yeah. And then eventually what they'll do, they'll pull it up and then the fishes will face each other. And when they face each other, but they can't get near each other, they get really angry and hostile. So then what they'll do, they'll put them in the same bucket, and then it's a fight to the death, and that's what they gamble on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy gamblers. Yeah.
And then another one is cow racing. So in Sam Roi Yot, you'll see hundreds, if not thousands of cows. Like you could walk 2 miles and see 50, 60 cows.
Yeah.
And I thought they were for cattle. I thought they were for milk. I thought they were for beef, but they're not. They're actually for racing. I've never been to a cow race, but from what I've heard, it's pretty horrific. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, mate. Oh, that's wild. I remember going then, I was in Seville in Spain, went to the bullfighting, which was crazy. That was absolutely wild because they fight like in terms of the bull, but it's obviously a human. Not bullfighting necessarily. I forget the actual traditional name for it, but it's obviously the human that evades them and they kill the bull in the end. It's brutal. But chickens, 22-minute rounds. That's
22
absurd.
rounds.
Absolutely absurd, mate. So yeah, it's a crazy thing that obviously it's illegal, yet it's such a big gambling culture. I assume for you, because the environment was different, like you weren't coming out here necessarily gambling on chickens. You were,
No.
well, it was a little bit different to your usual act on the weekend.
No, a lot different. I feel like back then, if I knew about it, I probably
probably
would have
would've.
involved. Yeah. So I'm glad I didn't find out until this time round.
Yeah, yeah. So you would come out here, like you said, it was the changing environment you needed. So you come out here. How long would you come out and train Muay Thai for?
So the construction industry would close, like I'd say, a week before Christmas. So I wouldn't have to use any of my holidays. I'd get 2 to 3 weeks where I could just come and do something. So I'd come here and train, do Muay Thai twice a day, meet people from all different avenues of the world, like have conversations that I can't have back at home. And one of the biggest things for me, I feel like when you're with complete strangers, you can say more to them than you can to people that have been your friends for 10 to 15 years.
That's interesting. So I think it's really interesting on that. I think your friends have a lot of preconceived ideas and thoughts about you. So that's probably one of the reasons why you can't tell them about these things.
Yeah.
I noticed that in the time chamber, which is obviously where we met, in the Bali time chamber, which is similar to obviously kind of what you wrong in terms of retreat, a sanctuary. I noticed when I was talking to people, it was like people were being so vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I think it was because of that, because there's no preconceptions, there's no thoughts of idea of who's who and what's what, and you talk. So it's amazing that you had that. What else did you gain from being out here? Obviously, you had the ability to train. Obviously, it just took you away from gambling completely. Was that how it worked?
It takes me away from that, and it gives you some clarity and headspace and something that I don't have. Whereas you think, when I'm back at home on a Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, there's things on that consume me. Whereas when I'm here, there's nothing I can do. So I don't think about it. And all I can think about is me and my growth and how I'm going to get better and how I'm going to change my life. You got to think at this point, I'm 19, 20, 21, I'm probably still a student, or I'm working in a job that I hate. So I'm thinking ahead, next 4, 5, 6 years, what do I actually want to be doing in my life? Yeah. Because I know long term, like if this is what life is, then I don't want to be part of it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's scary where you were, obviously, but you're so fortunate to have this escape. How did you, so this place, Sam Roi Yot, it's a very small village. I'd never heard of it. Tell me the story about how you came to find this place. How did you discover it?
I was in Koh Samui. I'd just been drinking with my friends. I think I woke up at 5, 6 in the morning. And
what age were you at the time?
19 or 20, I think.
Okay.
I was very, very hungover. And then I Googled Muay Thai camp. And I think because of the name it had before, it was called 301. And the SEO on Google back then, I think it favorited numbers. So it came up as the #1 search. But also I had a friend who came there the year before. So when I saw it, I thought, this place looks familiar. Asked him about it and thought, I've got to go. By the time my mates came round and they woke up 10 o'clock, I said, guys, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go and check out this camp. So I had another 10 days left of my trip, drinking, partying, visiting places, islands. And then when I found this place, I was hooked.
Wow. That changed your life forever, essentially.
Changed my life completely. Every time, whenever I went home, I'd talk about this place. If someone asked me, where's the best place in the world, I'd say this place. And then it even got to a point where I was really bad in the gambling. I was getting hypnotherapy. The lady would put me into hypnosis and she'd kind of say, just think about somewhere that's your happy place where in whatever way you would be now, where you want to be. And I'd always think of Sam Roi Yot.
Powerful. And of course, that gave you the environment, which was totally separate from what you had at home, and gave you peace from gambling and all the stresses of life. I mean, I don't know, I'd kind of briefly mentioned this to you before. Maybe there's a story in Atomic Habits where James Clear, he talks about the heroin addicts in Vietnam. Did you ever hear about that? So in the Vietnam War, or the American War as they'll call it, when the American soldiers went over, around 15% of them gathered a heroin addiction, because at that time, heroin was flooding into Vietnam, and both the Vietnamese and the American soldiers, they became addicted to it, because when they weren't, like, first of all, you had the stimulus. These guys were in fear all the time. They were at war, so they were panicking. They needed something to relieve that, and they had access to heroin. So around 15% of US soldiers became heroin addicts. Now, they reported this back to the government in the US, and they're like, what are we going to do? We're going to have all these heroin addicts come back into the US, and it's going to carry over to everyone else. It's going to spread. So they were worried about that. But what they found is, when they came back to the US, 9 out of 10 of them completely came off it. They needed no therapy. They needed nothing. And they put that down to a radical change in environment. Because when they came back into the States, you couldn't go back to Vietnam. You didn't want to go back to Vietnam. You couldn't access it the same. It was so difficult to access it. The culture was different. So it's like, for them, it was right, okay, we just can't. Whereas it was so easily accessible to them in Vietnam that it was just, why not do it to a certain extent? So it's so incredible. It's like that radical change in environment that James Clear speaks about can be a great, at least, starting position. Now, for them, they were living the rest of their lives in America, so that was fine. For you at the time, you were only here for, what, a few weeks at a time, a month at a time maybe? And then, of course, what were you doing? You were going back in the same environment where you were addicted. And it's the same to so many other people. It's like their bad habits, the shit in life that they don't want to be doing, it comes from their environment.
And it's like, what I want to kind of do with the camp and with Thybrid is, well, people lose distractions, they lose the things that were holding them down, but then they find routine. And I think go back to the environment with a new routine, kind of hoping something like that will stick and you won't go back to your old ways.
Yes. It's a great way to do it, man. So, which leads us really nicely onto this, man. Thybrid, obviously, something that you've founded, you're developing somewhere where I've been lucky enough to stay for the past week, and I've experienced. For people who maybe haven't heard of it, they don't know what it is, how would you explain it? What is it?
I call it the sanctuary for high performance. Okay, so it's a place of just natural beauty, but then at the same time, it's got everything there to give you the best mental set that you can. You've got the co-working area, you've got the spaces, you've got the gym, you've got the Mai Tai, you've got the coffee shop, and what it is everything is in one place. You've got the high performance meals, you've got the structured classes, and what we want to try and influence is giving people a network, a camaraderie, because I feel like what we don't do is talk. And like I said, is when we meet people from all different areas of life, it gets the best out of us.
Yeah. So you want to give people an environment, a place to come for, like, which exactly what you had, where they can change their environment, be around like-minded people will help them grow, and just for them to become better, to them to indulge in high performance as such. Would that be it?
It's the same. It's like I'm creating a system. So the system involves hybrid training as the key and Muay Thai as the other key. So there's two keys. So these are the things that changed my life. So this is very much based around my experience and what got me out of my addiction. So how it's going to work is, okay, every single morning, people are working from 6 till 7 or doing some low level cardio. This is where people think, this is where people get clarity. So 1 hour, sit on a bike, don't bring your phone, don't bring your earphones. You're just sitting there, you're connecting, you're talking, and you're just moving. Low level activity, not too taxing. Okay, after that, okay, some caffeine, some fuel, because you're going into the hybrid class at 8 o'clock. Between the hours of 8 and 9, you're going to do a physical pursuit that pushes you outside of your comfort zone. And when someone questions me, okay, do you know what, everything that we're doing here, it's all physical. How is this a retreat? It's just physical. My belief is that, okay, physical pursuits probably have the most mental benefit if you drive them the right way. Like, people need to work in a way that pushes them, that brings them out of that comfort zone. I think for me, when I do something so physically challenging, it kind of relates to when I'm going through not physical, more mental stress. So it's the same. So I'm mentally preparing myself for anything else that comes my way that day. After that, okay, recovery zone. Everybody recovers together. People sit there speaking, networking, or just letting things go. Sauna, ice bath, great way. Start, everything's done. You've ticked all the boxes. And then from maybe 10, 11 o'clock, breakfast together. Same thing, a big structure around your morning. Get all these things done. And then in the middle of the day, focus on your work, focus on the things that you need to do. Because at 5 o'clock, you're getting in the ring, you're going to do some pad work, you're going to do some sparring, you're going to do some real martial art, which is Muay Thai.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think such a great point, and that with the so much mental change comes through the physical. It's like I always said this, that fitness is the gateway to self-improvement. Think of me and you both have went into business, have had other avenues or pursuits in our life, all started with fitness.
Yeah, and it's like, how can I frame this? Like for me, okay, there's two things. There's rest. Rest is, really good, really valued. But then at the same time, it's like training is really good, it's really valued. So which one do I do? For me, I feel like people say rest more because it's the easier option. Whereas I think, you're going to get a lot more growth from picking the harder option. And like for 99.9% of the people who are not going to be professional athletes, it doesn't matter if you are doing what a sports scientist says is overtraining. You do it for the mental benefits and how it sets you up for your day. That's how I like to frame it.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point, man. I love the aspect of how your physiology changes your psychology.
Yeah.
In the sense of you change something from a physiological level, i.e. with training, whether that be through cardio and endorphin response, what changes? Your psychology, your mindset, your perspective, everything becomes brighter. It's like, all right, like me and you speak about how we start the day with training. It's like everything becomes better because you've used your physiology to change your psychology.
It's mad. Like I was thinking this morning when I'm on a run, like when I'm on a run or when I'm doing something, it's where I get my most clarity. I was thinking, right, so what were people doing thousands of years ago? Because there was no spot scientists. People had to hunt the food. And do you know what? If people were running 10, 20 miles to go and catch a deer, whatever they used to eat back then, it's like, the next day they might have to do the same thing again. And it's not considered as necessarily overtraining. Whereas now it's like, oh, you do a little bit too much, you overreach, you step beyond where you were supposed to go. And it's like, it's really frowned upon. Like even now I've got a watch.
Yeah.
When I look at my watch, I feel like it just tells me a lot of numbers that are making me feel, no, it's telling me how I'm supposed to feel.
Yes.
Okay, my HRB is low. Yeah, I get that is an important factor, but then I've seen that something's red on the watch. That's making me feel like shit, even though I might have woke up not feeling like shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I go to sleep now, I'll just leave it.
Yeah.
If I have 5 hours sleep a night, 6 hours sleep a night, okay, doesn't matter. I'm still going to get up and do the same thing.
Yeah. See, brother, listen, I talk to people about this all the time because I think at the end of the day, see, if you want to be a high performing individual in life, you want to live a fulfilled life, you're going to have to like come to terms with the fact that you're going to have to go above and beyond. You're going to have to overreach in so many aspects of your life, whether that be physically, whether that be with your work. People, oh, you can't survive. Like I have sometimes clients will say to me, look at my work and I've still like 5.5 hours, 6 hours. Oh, what's your recommended sleep? I'm like, man, I don't give a fuck what my recommend. I need to be up. I need to be working. I need to be doing this thing. And see, for that like period of time, I wouldn't rather it any other way. So I've got shit to do. Like I've got priorities to pursue, and I'm living such an incredibly fulfilled life. Now I understand the importance of sleep and I understand the importance of rest. But if you have this mentality of, oh, everything needs to be perfect, I need to be in the green zone all the time, I need to be this and that, you're not going to achieve any of the things that you want to in life because that requires overreaching.
That's what I mean. And that's it. It's exactly how you said it. Like overreaching right now is seen as negative. But then at the same time, there's a lot of people preaching like, oh, grind culture. Do you know what I mean? You've got to work 18, 20-hour days. But there has to be the balance. Like we said before, you have to prioritize yourself, do your training, do your recovery as well, and then get into work and then spend your family time. Like structure your day, but do everything with conviction and put 100% into it.
With intent, exactly. Conviction, intention. I think that's what most people miss, which I think Thybrid gives them, right? People come there, what do you get given? You get given structure, you get given direction. Both of them together equals intention. It's like, because what happens, people don't make progress in life because they have no intention behind their days. They're just waking up and flowing through it. Whereas if you come to a place like this, it's like, no, you are up early.
Yeah.
You get up early, you come through here, you're being not forced, you're being encouraged to be social. You get some zone 2 work in. You have your breakfast around other people. You do all these things. So that's what people need. People need intention. They need guidance for that. So I think it's going to be a really, like, when I think of self-improvement tools, like for people, life-changing self-improvement tools and experience at places like Thybrid, that's exactly it. That's what they need.
That's it. And I think when people go to places, my first recommendation is go there with an intention. And I feel like that's why we've got the application online. So everybody who comes, they've got to fill out an application so we can either accept or decline them. And then we learn more about them as well. But I feel like when you come to a place like this, whether it's the Bali Town Chamber, whether it's Thybrid, whether it's another retreat, there has to be something that you want to get out of it by the time you leave.
Yes. Yeah. You don't need to know how to get that. You just need to know, what do you want to, like, I want more clarity.
Yeah.
I want to be physically better. I want to create a routine. Like for me, I want to lock in on my training. I know jack shit about hybrid training, but I know I've got high rocks in 3 months and I have to learn. So it's like, I came here and I'm like, right, this is my intention. I'm going to go balls to the wall, like 3 training sessions, 2 training sessions every day. And it's worked. And that's because I came here with that intention. Again, you guys gave me the direction. You gave me the structure to do that. So it's powerful.
And it's like, I can't, when people come, say they're staying for 1 month, 2 months, I can't force them. I can't physically force anybody to do anything. I can guide people the best that I can. But if somebody's here for a week and I see cycle of them missing training, not getting up at 6 a.m. when the bell goes to do this and that, it annoys me because you booked this, a month, 2 months ago, and you've had great intention. Like you've wanted to come and lose weight, you've wanted to come and escape like a messy situation. It might be a divorce, it might be like going through some sort of addiction, but you've not got up and done the thing for yourself. Like you've still got to make half the effort. Just because you booked it and ticked the box doesn't mean you're going to get out of the experience that you wanted.
Absolutely. How do you envision it being in terms of what you're building? Obviously, still in the very much the early stages of Thybrid. What do you expect it being for people? Do you expect it to be somewhere where they can come and reset, somewhere obviously they can grow? What's that going to look like?
I think for me, like, there are more and more people doing hard physical pursuits because it's not necessarily trendy, but people realize like the mental benefit from it. But for me, I want to give people that experience and that structure behind, like, do you know what? You can do anything. You can get up at 8 a.m., you can deadlift twice your body weight, or you can lift something over your head that you've never ever managed to do before. And then 1 hour later, you can go straight in and dive deep into a business that you thought you'd never do.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. I want people to come, network, grow, learn from each other, and do things that they never thought they'd be able to do.
Yeah. Incredible. Now, when we think of Thybrid, obviously it's amazing what it is on the surface. It's a place where people can go and just dive into high performance and change their lives really. And exactly what you've done. And when you went to Sam Roi Yot, obviously you went away from addiction, you went into training, and you just focused. What's it been like building that? Because I imagine it's not been easy. You're in our country, it's done a bit. What's business like running a high performance sanctuary?
So what I took over was traditionally Muay Thai camp. So we're moving away from traditional Muay Thai, even though I love it. I love the sport. But for me, and to get the most out of me, I couldn't solely rely on Muay Thai. There has to be other things involved. So building it has taken a lot of time. When I opened it, it was there was a good blend of Muay Thai, there was a good blend of hybrid training, there was strength and conditioning, there's yoga, and it's like, we've got a packed and busy schedule, but it might not necessarily be optimal. I want to find one system that works for everybody. So I've had to bite my tongue a little bit, and I've had to cut back and just say, okay, this is a system that worked for me, and I know it will work for thousands of others as well.
Yeah. for sure. Yeah, it's an amazing thing. Was it like, obviously, being somewhere that you used to come and train, now it's somewhere that you own? What does that feel like? Because obviously you have those past memories, you have what it's like now.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same. I'll drive down different stories. I'll see different views. I'll see, every time I go back up my road, my road is beautiful. It's Soi 19. Yeah. Drive there, look to the right. There's just a big, I don't know if it's flooded or it's a lake or some sort of water, and then the mountains behind it, and it's beautiful. Every time I drive up there, I get the same feelings that I did 5 years ago, that I did 7 years ago. Like, it's the same.
Yeah. I've genuinely, I'm not just saying this because you're from me, I've never experienced a place like it.
Yeah.
I've been to quite a good few places in Thailand. I've been to places in Indonesia. I've been to most of the big countries in Europe and been to some amazingly beautiful places. But this it blew me away. Like going around in the bike, there's no cars, there's barely anybody. It's all locals. The views, the mountains, and the little kind of lakes, and the cows as well, and then the sea's right there. The place is unlike anywhere I've ever been. It's incredible.
And trying a concave.
Yes.
So the cave's special. The cave is, honestly, I believe it's magical. Like, have you ever seen, do you know them screens on the computers where screensavers will pop up?
Yes, in the photos.
It would change like every 30 seconds. Yeah. One of them is that cave in Thailand. I was away in Dubai recently, and then the TV was, for some reason, was on standby, and the cave came up. I was like, oh, no way. Took a picture of it, sent it to Sam. I was like, wow, this is special. And then in the LA Sphere, have you seen the Sphere?
Yeah, the Sphere, yeah, for sure.
I was on TikTok maybe about a year ago, scrolling through, and they were showing the cave on there.
Wow.
Like, it's one of the, I'd say it's one of the wonders of the world.
Yeah, it literally is. It's incredible for anybody that's listening. What you can imagine is you have to go, it's quite a big walk. It's quite a walk to get, which I love.
Yeah.
As you said, I love the phrase, and it's kind of explained everything we spoke about in a business sense and self-improvement sense. Everybody wants the view, but nobody wants the climb. It's like the climb's the hard shit, man, but that's like what makes it worth it. So you go through the difficulty and see when you get there, it's incredible. And this place has that. Like you go through a bit of a journey, even if you get the boat round, you have to walk for maybe, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes. It's the easiest of walks for sure. It's decent. You're going up and down and up and down. And of course, you get into this cave. And just in the middle of this cave is this temple. And it's just the way the light shines in. There's a huge gaping hole in the top of this cave, and the light shines through. And it's like you said, that if people haven't seen it, they need to search it up. I've got a follow on Instagram. It's breathtaking.
It hits it perfectly. And it's like, as you are walking in, it's kind of like, 4K HD, whatever the best quality is, you see the light, like a gleam of light in front of you, and then you walk and you see the full experience. It's like nothing you'll ever experience. It's crazy. But it's always been a place that I've prayed genuinely. When you go in, say a prayer, it'll come true. I remember 2019, just before COVID, just before the world got locked down, that's where I went in and said, you know what, I want something more for my life. I want to do this, this, and this. And then it came true. I was actually there with another guy who's a Swedish guy, and then he did the same thing, and his life has gone up in a massive trajectory.
Wow.
He's like a primal movement coach now, like really highly regarded. Whereas back then he didn't know what to do with his life.
Yeah. Incredible. We need just a little bit of guidance, and that can be it. So yeah, what's it called again? How do you pronounce it?
Prayanakon Cave.
Yeah. So anybody that hasn't seen it, I would recommend you search up. It's unbelievable. And you've literally got that, maybe a 10, 15-minute drive from Thybrid?
Yeah, literally.
Not far. So it's, an incredible place that you can come to. So Thybrid is an exceptional place, mate. And I'm not just saying that because you're in front of me. It really is. The environment is amazing. Obviously, that's one of your businesses. You're now developing an app as well.
Yeah.
So talk us through that.
So it's like the people that come to my camp, it's like they're not necessarily professional hybrid athletes, professional fighters. These are just business owners that want to come for a bit of an escape, or some of them bring their team to Thybrid, they'll train and then they'll do work for the rest of the day. One of them was actually a really highly regarded AI scientist, a tech developer. I've been working with him since February, developing this app in hybrid training, and we're really, really close to launching it now.
Wow. And if you talk me through it, what does the app do for people?
So for me, and the problem that I've identified with functional fitness and hybrid training is there's not too many trackers or systems behind it because the workouts are so varied and now it's not as simply structured as running, whereas okay, week one I run at this speed, week two I run a little bit faster. I think now with AI, we can look more into the numbers of hybrid training and with CrossFit and anything functional. So what I've done, I've developed a system where now we can generate a workout in 5 seconds based on the presets that we set it. If I want to train for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, if I want to do an EMOM, if I want to do a chipper, if I want to do a for time workout, if I want to work on my mixed modal conditioning, or if I just want to work on my engine, like there's certain presets that you fill in, press generate, 10 seconds, creates a WOD, press start, press complete, and you finish your workout. But if I want to work out with a friend or work out with you, there you go. You scan the QR, you can do it as well. And then there's a leaderboard between me and you. If you want to share it with 10 other people worldwide, I've got 5 friends at home that really love functional fitness. They can do it as well. And we've got a bit of community there and connection through sport and fitness that, say, for example, me, I used to be part of the big community in England. I can stay in touch with them in a certain aspect.
Absolutely. Which, as we know, connection, social aspect of life is huge. Training allows us to do that. And also you're doing that through the app.
Yeah.
So the name of the app is?
Wadi.
Yeah. So Wadi. And it will be when he's looking to launch over the next few weeks, coming months.
Before December.
Yeah, exciting, man. Yeah, I can't wait to trial it when it's done. So obviously you have so much to balance with all of these things. What does the vision look like? Obviously, you want to continue doing the things with Thybrid. You want to build that. I assume that you want to build the app. What does your vision for the future look like?
So for me, I've got kind of a business mentor, and then he was asking me, he was saying, okay, do you know what you need to do? You need to give yourself the most unrealistic goal for your life. And then every step that you do, if it's business, if it's with the app, or if it's with the gym, every step that you do takes you one step closer to that. And his was like, okay, I want to have 100 kids. I was like, that sounds crazy. How are you going to do that? He's like, well, maybe one day when AI develops, I'm going to build loads of robot wombs. I'll have 6 kids at a time. And then when the first 6 kids become 6 years old, I'll have the other 6 kids. And then the first 6 kids would take care of the next 6 kids. Okay. So that was like a crazy idea that he thought of.
Yeah.
And then for me, it was, I want to turn Sam Roi Yot, so the town that I'm in, into a city of high performance, where the people that come and the people that want to be there are people that want to grow and want to get more from life. Kind of like how it is now, but on a larger scale.
To continue to scale this thing that you've built, and of course the app as well.
Scale it, and I feel like scale the area, keep giving out jobs. I feel like in the area we're the biggest employee of local people. I think we've got over 20 staff now.
Wow.
So for us, we're giving back to the community that way, and we're also still supporting local Muay Thai. So as much as I want to get a lot out of it and give a lot to the guests, I also think it's just as important to give back to the people that give it to us.
It's interesting, just out of obviously I love Muay Thai. With what you have in the gym, obviously support 1 or 2 young fighters. What's that like? Because you said to me before, obviously you went to like Raja in terms of the stadium in Bangkok, you went there with them. What's it like supporting young fighters in Muay Thai?
It's hard. I think it's a lot different to grassroots footy at home. Like, it's very intense and it's very much fueled by gambling. Like, to the supporters, the people in the crowd, you're just a red or you're a blue. Nobody knows about you. They'll do a bit of background information and they'll be betting from 100 baht up to 1 million baht on a fighter. And then obviously for me, being in the corner at some of these fights, seeing wins, okay, you don't see the bad part of it. When your fighters lose, getting abuse. These are 14, 15, 16-year-old boys getting real verbal abuse from adult and grown men. Also other things, it's very much, like I said, it's fueled by gambling. Like, you could go to the closest 7-Eleven, turn a bottle of water upside down, it would be pissing out because somebody will inject poison into the bottle.
To affect the fighters?
Just to, yeah. There's been incidents before where the fighters are being sick or they're too sick to compete, and it's largely to do with things like that.
And is that in Bangkok?
Mainly in Bangkok, yeah.
Wild. I think it's hard to understand that until you experience Thailand, what it's like. I remember going to Channel 7 in Bangkok, like this, like to watch it live. And the gambling, obviously, gambling's illegal, but then you've got the guys that proper authentic Muay Thai, and these guys that gambling just shouting in. And also, I don't understand what they're saying in Thai, but you just see it, the abuse they shout and everything. It's wild.
It's mad, and like as a sport, it's a beautiful sport. It's a great sport, but behind the scenes, it can be very different. And it's like, you know, you see a lot of Muay Thai influences now emerging, which I do love, because I think the sport does need to grow and people need to share it. But then also people kind of need to be not naive to what else goes on. And a lot of these Thai boys at these Farangs come and fight, you know, they very much, they get paid a couple of £100 per fight. 50% of that will go to the camp. And, you know, they'll probably send 60% of that home. So they're left with a few quid after each fight.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy, absolutely crazy. Obviously, seeing the young guys, which I think is so cool what you've done. You've incorporated this camp for high performance, for self-improvement, but you have the roots of Thailand. You have these young guys, like really incredible fighters and just genuinely, yeah, authentic kind of young guys. It's pretty amazing to have that there. How does it feel to have them as part of Thybrid?
I mean, I love it. They very much feel like an extension of my own family, but it's hard because any personal issues that they've got, for example, oh, do you know what? I've not got enough money to send home to my mom. I've got these medical bills. Like, can you advance me some money? And it's like, you know, okay, I will. But then at the same time, we've got to be a boss, because it's like in the UK, people don't get away with things like this. But it's like in Thailand, they kind of have to be understanding. And I feel like the people that I've got around me that work in the business now are good people. But then I understand, like, as much as they're helping me and spending time managing my business, like, they've got their own personal lives to try and fix as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You said it's like an extension of your family. Obviously, your family has expanded recently.
Yeah.
2 boys. Talk me through what it's been like moving, like literally moving your family from Manchester, from England out to Thailand. How's that been?
It was crazy. It was 2024, so I think beginning of last year. I was here, I was training. The place was kind of falling apart, so we give it a little revamp. But the owner, a French guy, was in the pool, and I was just speaking to him, having a catch up. I've known him for years. And he said he wanted to retire. I was like, what? What do you mean? And then he was like, oh, I want to retire. I was like, no way, I will give it a go. I'll take over the place. And I thought he was joking. He might have thought I was joking. He said, okay, come to room 11. That was his room at the time. I went in his room. He had everything written out, the numbers, this would cost this much, the rent's this much. I was like, do you know what? I can make it work. Phoned Sam. She'd never been here before. And she's like, fuck off. She's like, nah, no way. And I think I was away for another 4 or 5 weeks. And I was actually away to kind of work on my next step. Like, did I want to continue doing what I do in the gyms, or did I want to, you know, open my own facility in the UK, or do I want to do something else? And it's like the opportunity just kind of fell to me. And I thought, it's a sign. Like, right at the start of my trip, before I'm on this adventure to, you know, go and find what I'm going to do next.
Wow. And then obviously you opened that, you with kind of full arms, you took it on, you've made these big renovations, everything like that. The place is looking incredible. What's it now like that everybody's over here settled? Do you have a place to live? Family's over here, obviously 2 sons, Sam's here. Like, what's that like? What does that feel like?
It's great. I mean, the family back and forth. Like, Sam's mum was just gone. She was here for a month. My family coming again next month. Like, we've seen them a good 4 to 8 weeks. Oh, her parents, my parents. It's like the time you spend with them now is quality time.
Yes.
And I think that's the biggest takeaway. Like, we've changed our environment where we are. We're in a beautiful location. We've got a good business. My son's at a great school, even though it's 45, 50 minutes drive away. Life is just a lot better here than it was in the UK. I feel like you could offer me £1 million and I wouldn't move back.
Yep. Why would you? When you experience a place like this, I don't blame you at all, mate. I'm only inspired by it in terms of the journey you've took. I mean, if we look at what you've done, where you've came from working in jobs, like not having no idea what you want to do. You worked jobs you didn't like. You didn't even know, obviously, you fell into fitness really and Muay Thai and everything. You were addiction at the time you obviously suffered from, to now be where you are today is pretty unbelievable, man. What would you say in terms of advice to people that are listening that are maybe a bit stuck in their journey, whether they are struggling with addiction or any other area of their life? You've obviously found this huge purpose. Sorry, you've created this purpose in your life. What bit of advice would you give to those people?
It's kind of back to what we were saying before. It's just do what you love. Do what you love. Like if podcasts and speaking is something that you love, like you continue to do that. Like don't stop doing that. I'll never shy away from it. I think for me, I was kind of in a place where I was thinking, do you know what? There's actually not much money in the sport industry. That's what I was getting told by teachers and you know, by my parents and my family. Thinking, do you know what? You're probably safer doing law or doing construction, something like that, something more stable. Whereas I just wanted to work with teams and work with communities and work with pro athletes. So to be given the opportunity to do that myself and work with the pro fighters, you know, work in a great team and also like help people along the way, that is just, yeah, the best wish that I could have ever asked for.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. I think if you look at that, what you've done, what did you do exactly? Like you've said, you leaned into something you were passionate about. When you started coaching people in the gym for what you were passionate about, that obviously led you to entrepreneurship, started up your own place. Obviously, you're doing that now. All of these things have led you down this path because you leaned into what you love. Like if I think about my life and how I'm doing the things that I could have never envisioned a life like this. What did I do? I leaned into what I love. Whereas most people lean away from it. So I think it's incredible advice because when people do start to do that, obviously the life will change. It takes persistence, it takes time, but yeah, things change. I think your story's shown that, man. Everything we spoke about today, mate, in terms of what you've gone through with addiction, all the difficulty stuff, with you coming out to Thailand, with you fighting, with you pushing your body, doing what you've done high rocks, you building your family and moving out here. It's been pretty incredible to see in person, mate. Because obviously, I've been in Thybrid for the past week now. Seen the other day when you walked in the gym with Vinny on your shoulders, literally, like your young boy on your shoulders. You walk into the gym. So many parents make the excuse of like, I can't train now. Definitely, you're fortunate enough to have this gym, but you built that for yourself. And you look at that, it's like you're bringing him into your life. He's going to grow up looking at his dad training, being a fucking animal, a machine. And I seen that the other day, mate, and I thought, I was like, that's goals, mate. You're doing a lot of things that people would once and be inspired to do. How does that feel to live that type of life and to be doing all these things?
I it just feels normal now. Like it feels like nothing out of the ordinary. That's what I've always done. I've always had Vinny around the gym. I've always brought him to the gym. Like if you know him, like as a little boy, he's not scared of anything. Like yesterday, he was doing clean and press with me after shortly after I saw you. I think growing up in the future, I said to him, I said, "What do you want to do when you get older? Do you want to do gym or do you want to do Muay Thai?" He was like, "I like gym. I like Muay Thai." Like he wants to do both. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, do you know what? He might be really physically good. But then at the same time, we've got to prepare him for a world that might not require the education that he's going to get. And that's something that I'm always very conscious of now. It's like, you know, for me, when I look at the school system, I don't think it's optimal for how the kids now, what world they're going to go into.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we're seeing that more now. People homeschooling,
Yeah.
people taking kids out. Obviously, he'll not know any different, but you've taken him to another part of the world.
Yeah.
And Asian, I just think it's such a great environment you're putting him. And like for that young boy to grow up, he's got everything like in terms of what you are both doing as parents. Like when I seen him like playing with the Thai trainers and stuff, it's like, aye, incredible, man. It's amazing.
It's like, do you know what? I love it, but we're still learning along the way as parents. Okay, when to switch off, when to give, because you got to think it's a lot. Like we have moved out here, but then at the same time we don't have constant support around us. Like we can't just go and drop him off at my mum's house. Like it's a lot different. So we've got the kids pretty much all day unless he's at school. So it's like when he's with us, he requires 100% of our attention or the majority of it. which can make it hard when both of us are working in the same business. And if you know the business never closes. It's not like a normal gym where you could be open 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. Like, we're basically running a hotel at the same time.
Yeah. It's full on, man. What's it like working with your partner? How does that feel?
It has its no, it's great. Like, I love it. Like, I've always worked with Sam. Like, when I've been in the fitness industry, she's always been there helping me with my business to grow, social media, doing content. Like, she's always been there with me. So it's nothing new being out here. I'm just in a different environment.
Yeah.
But we're kind of, yeah, we're locked in. We're always together. But the business is completely ours, which I love. But then at the same time, it can be stressful.
Yeah. I think just to finalise for today, one of the things I want to know is if we look back to the things that have led to you to get to this position where you're at now, change you've made, the life you built. One of them, obviously, being out here in Thailand. Thailand's been huge. I think Sam's played an enormous role in obviously that. What else stands out to you as the things that have really allowed you to make this change you made in your life, to overcome addiction, to battle through it, to build this life? What's allowed you to do that?
This is like speaking honestly. It's like, I feel like, growing up as a teenager, as a young adult, listen to the advice that your parents give you. Because even though you might not get on with them 100%, like, everything that they tell you comes from their experience, and they'll always have your best intention at heart above anyone else.
I agree, man. I think that I've always had that with my dad, the total trust in what he said. In fact, it's funny. Anybody, if I ever go to anyone with a problem, my dad is probably the only person on this earth that I've been like, it calms me down. So I'm like, whatever, like, he'll sort it.
Yeah.
I'm like, he'll tell me what to do. So it's interesting, that kind of bond that you have with your parents.
And it's like, I'd want my sons to do the same if they were ever in an issue, if they had addiction, like, God forbid, if they were struggling with something like that, I would be the person they come to first.
Yeah, yeah. And I think they will, mate, because you're setting the right example, that's for sure. And as I was saying earlier, mate, your story is incredibly inspiring for me. You've done a lot of things in life that I aspire to do, especially what you built with your family, with business. So I really appreciate you coming on today. I appreciate you being so authentic and sharing your story, talking about addiction, things that most people wouldn't talk about. So thank you for coming on today, mate, and sharing your story.